Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we are returning to Let's Play of Hearts of Iron 4. We've just set up our first tanks and we want to see how they work. But before we go into that, we need to allocate a couple of more factories because we also just finished the German war economy path. So that's pretty nice. It does give us more factories. What are we going to do with them? Now, we are still very short on infantry equipment. Still, I would like to get a little bit more artillery and support equipment done before we go into anything else. So let's bump these guys up to at least 15 so that we are producing as much of them as we're producing from the Carabines, and that's fine. We're also producing Panzers. Let's prioritize them a little bit. I actually think we need a little bit more light tanks than we need from the medium tanks, which I think is going to be still pretty fine. I think we are also pretty shy on at least fighters and a couple of bombers, so these are the things that are going to be built up over time as we go along, which I think is great. Good. The next thing is we do already have a couple of medium tanks here from the Panzer III that we did build up, but we are very short on light tanks, so I think what we might want to do is then go ahead for our Panzer division here, create a duplicate of that, and call this the Medium Panzer Division. Yeah, let's just give that the new template. And what we're going to do is we're going to build the medium tank in here. We could specify the equipment in particular, but I think this is going to be alright, and I would love for this to be a different symbol, but I think we can't. Yeah, it's going to be the light tank symbol here. It's going to be fine. Yeah, but now we can actually see what this does for us or against us. Now, weight and supply, that doesn't really matter that much. What does matter is soft attack goes down, so that's not a great thing. That's a little bit unfortunate. Hard attack, on the other hand, goes up. Defense down, breakthrough up by a little bit. But here are the really important things, and this is what we strive for. Armor goes up by a lot, from 9 to 25. That's a big change. And piercing goes up very significantly. So I think this is going to be a good change. It's probably better against future tanks that the enemy is going to field. But to be honest, for now, I think this is going to work out fine for us. Anything else here that we need? No, not for the moment. Probably we'll come back to that later on though. Right, I think we can save that up, and that's gonna be alright, but what we should do is take at least one of our tanks here. Let's take this one, the 2nd Panzer Division here, and allocate it to the Medium Panzer Division. So that is gonna use a couple of tanks here, medium tanks, and free up some light tanks. So that's looking better, I think, at least more proper. You can also see that I did assign commanders here in between episodes. It's just a bit boring to watch that on screen. So what we have now is we've got one army that is going to be attacking Poland from the north. One is going to come in straight from the west. We've got our tanks that are going to drive on Warsaw, and more importantly lots from down here, so that we cut from the north and from the south towards the Vistula, basically isolate all of the Polish forces over there, and that is at least the plan. We've also got at least one army that is going to watch the French while we're doing that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, we can change the government while we're doing that, and I don't think there's a lot of things that I want to do, but at least I want to get Karl Dönitz here for convoy raiding efficiency and some air experience. And then I think we're also going to pick Goering for the Air Force, even though I hate the guy. But air superiority bonus is pretty nice to see. And again, it does give us here some air experience. So that's okay enough, I think. Right, insufficient resources. Yeah, we do need a little bit more rubber. Let's buy that from the Dutch. Should be okay. There we go. And that's fine. We currently still do not have any intelligence agency, so you know what, I was waiting a little bit for that, but let's create it now. I didn't want to spend too much in terms of political power on that early on, but I guess we do need it, so yeah, there we go. Right, all of our forces here are moving towards their new positions, that's fine, and they're going to continue to train up from there, which I think is also pretty good, because, yeah, we still need a lot more army experience, but that should work out. Right, down here we are still attacking the enemy, but I think our Panzer divisions here are sort of running out of steam a little bit, so apparently it does not work out, I'm afraid. Well, you did just finish, so maybe we can support that attack again? Yeah, still the modifiers here are pretty nasty. On the other hand, once we're getting rid of these guys, I think we're going to be fine and we can overwhelm them at that point probably. And that should be fine. Okay, agency created, that's fine. We are going to create one person here. Question is, how much are we actually playing over here? So that's, I think that's enough. We have got about more than 30 factories, so I suppose we can build up our agency here. So let's form a cryptology department, and we're going to go at least to 2 separate agents, I guess. Radio detection done, that's lovely. It is almost 1937, but not quite. So what are we going to be researching until then? Now this would be lovely because it does give us access to the improved radios, which is a pretty good thing to do for the, especially for the tanks. So that would be great. We are researching stuff over here already. Armor, we don't really need that at this moment. This is all 1939 technology. So quite honestly, I think we can go and eat the ahead of time penalty here. Just go ahead, do that. That's fine. Oh, we can pick a doctrine on mobile warfare. I don't think that's what we want to do right now, even though we could technically. But I think we are going to try to get some bonuses before we go into that. Right, we've got the field hospital done. That is nice. Let's also go ahead and research the armored the armored tanks, because A, armored tanks are cool, and B, they cost a little bit more, but at least they do provide some armor protection, which I'm not entirely sure how to read that number, but I do read it as it's going to be a little bit easier to defend ourselves. Right, logistics. We are still shy on infantry equipment. We're hoping to alleviate that over time. Support equipment is looking okay-ish, but I suppose what we could do then is go ahead and edit our infantry equipments to actually include a field hospital detachment here. That is potentially going to change our truck requirements and our support requirements, but it does also allow us to field more men. And since all of our guys here are training at the moment anyway, I think that's a good moment to actually do that. Right, I did lose a little bit track of where my second unit down here is. Where are you? Ah, you are in there. Didn't see you. Right, I still think this is the most likely place where we can do a successful attack. Home department, that's done. Let's go for the army department. And the research slot is done. Great. That's the signal company. I do like that, honestly. But we're going to see whether it's going to be useful later on. I guess we can do the computing machine. Yes, it's ahead of time, but I still think it's going to be alright. Let's... you're Turkish, but we've also got the safe cracker. Let's go with Emma over here, and Emma's job is going to be to build up a spy network in... Well, we could go for Poland, wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think the UK is sort of the long-term enemy. I'm fairly confident that we can beat Poland without any safe cracking or anything like that. So, come on, just beat them. There we go. That's the next thing done. Munich conference. Demand the Sudetenland. We can get that. Great. And then we're going to go for the next ones. First, Vienna Award. And then the other stuff. Primarily in the hope that we're going to get more factories. Speaking of, we are now producing all of this stuff. Any big gaps here that we have? Light tanks, we're still a little bit shy on that. Fighters, we are very shy on that. And the tactical bombers. Let's go for more fighters here. I think that's going to be really, really, truly needed. And potentially a little bit more in light tanks. I'm slightly worried about trucks and support equipment because we probably want a little bit more of that too. So let's dial that up as well. Right. Excavation done. Nice and lovely. Again, all of this 1939. So I think we are pretty much done on the 1938 stuff. Yes, we could go for some of the more expensive and fancy stuff. Oh, this is 1938. Yeah, let's pick it. Okay. Right, come on, just beat them over here. This is not rocket science. At least we've got more tax coming in now, so hopefully at least this we should be able to beat them at some point, pretty please. Army department, we're going to go for the economy and the civilian stuff. We want to find out what our enemies are doing, especially the UK. I think that's the sort of long-term goal, to find out what they are doing. We're going to have a hard time really hurting them because our navy really hasn't been built up to deal with that, really. But, yeah, there we go. See ya, Sam? Yeah, let's buy some stuff from you. All of that is going to change over time. Here's the first question. Divert fighter production to cover their order. That would give us less consumer goods factories. But... let's do it. Let's do it for the moment. I think that is going to give us fewer civilian factories. But the advantage, at least, is that we're going to get Yugoslavia a little bit more towards our side, which I think is good. Right, unassigned divisions. Let's assign them to the appropriate places. We've got 11 divisions here. Let's add another one to that. That I think is okay. And improved infantry equipment. Lovely, lovely. Now, we are now officially 1938. It is... but there's no 1938 technology that I really want to grab at this point. Not even on the shipping side, I think. Yeah, some of this artillery stuff would be good, but to be quite honest, I think better infantry equipment here. It's an enormous out-of-time penalty, but it's also an important technology that we are really, really spending a lot of our resources on. So I think it's kind of appropriate to prioritize that. Right, come on. This battle here, such a slugfest. They're reinforcing every now and then, and that's enough to not be able to kick them out, really. Notice how little equipment these guys actually have at this point. Okay, there we go, finally. Right, let's support this attack here. At least that should be a little bit faster now that these guys are encircled. There we go. Lovely. And then I suppose we can go down here because these guys are retreating anyway. And I think very soon we're going to see that nationalist Spain is winning over here. First Vienna War is done too, and that does lead us right into the fate of Czechoslovakia. We've also got apparently some new divisions. So I think it is time for a new army here, because all of our armies are pretty much set up already. Now, well, that means that we can put you into the Mountaineer group. You obviously are not a Mountaineer, but... still, I think that's going to be alright to allocate a couple of units there. Make this a proper army, and that should be a-okay. Right, oh, more free military factories. That should really be a different thing to highlight that. Naval bombers, yeah. Do we have enough naval bombers? I guess we could be producing a little bit more there. How are we looking tanks? Actually, kind of alright. Here's another thing. So... we've got the Panzer I Ausführung A. So the Panzer I think is a horrible, at least historically, was not really any serious tank at all. But how does it look in game? So yeah, the heavy, it only has a heavy machine gun, and that's not an appropriate symbol for that at all. But it only has the heavy machine gun, and that's not really a good gun, as you would expect. So what happens if we do move over towards the close support gun? Yeah, I think we're going to go for the close support gun here. Now the other thing that we could think about is turning you into a howitzer, but again it has very similar soft attack as this guy does. So... but you know what? We're going to keep you in reserve. We're going to use these later to make some fancy refits. And that, I think, would be a good idea. Right, Air Force Department done. So that makes 4. I think 1 more, and we're going to have 1 more guy down there. And at that point, we can start to do some serious stuff. And that's lovely, too. Right, so you guys, 2nd Panzer Corps, you are ready now. That's great. I would like your job... to be ultimately to be up over here and sort of blitz towards Ploch? I don't know how to pronounce that. And I'm guessing the 3rd Panzer Division can go into this group. We're just going to reallocate you a little bit, and that's going to be alright. You're also going to get a Panzer symbol here. You're going to keep your lovely purple, but that is pretty much it. Right, there we go. We should, of course, try to recruit a couple of more tank divisions here. So let's start actually doing that and assign you a higher priority here. I'm guessing 2 more would be great. I would also like some more motorized equipment here. Nope, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Just add unit here. Remove that. Give you a high priority. Yeah, that should be more or less fine. And good. Okay, more free military factories. We're churning out military factories at this point in great speed, so I like that. Right, that being said, I guess now we are seeing some shortages here, right? Yeah, especially on light tanks. Not so much medium tanks, curiously enough. Even though we've just trained these guys, right? Ah, no. Okay, that was my mistake. I should have trained the medium panzer divisions here. There we go. Yeah, now it should be a little bit more balanced at least. Yeah, we are short on both of these. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, but I do think we need more trucks. Especially as we are going to use them for supply purposes too. And that's going to be alright. Nationalist victory in Spain, of course, yes, we know that. Unassigned divisions, just kind of over here. And desymptomatic radar, that is lovely. It is 1939. This does not give us a tank upgrade, so we don't really need that. So I suppose what we're going to do is we're also going to try to blitz the better artillery piece here, which should be more or less cool. Okay, we should also now check our tank designs and make sure that they are up to snuff with their radios. I'm not sure whether that would really count as a completely new version here, but we're going to accept that and say that it really does. That is also going to be actually the Henschel here, which is nice because it's slightly faster. But basically that's it. We could think about using welded armor here, but I'm still thinking that, you know, very cheap designs for the Panzer II is going to be fine. And up over here, we're also going to use the better radio. There we go. And we're actually going to call that the Panzer IIIB2, just so that I know that they are sort of on the same technological level. Right, let's make sure that we're then producing the correct variant here. Yeah, we're not really losing that much in terms of efficiency. A little bit, but not too badly, actually. Right, so that's fine. Okay, you guys are now starting to look like a serious army here, actually, which is nice to see. We should also think about our army here. So let's add a theorist. It's going to be Guderian, because the mobile warfare and the armor technology. Oh, the armor technology. So does that actually mean the research of the technology, or does that mean the tank itself? I think that they mean the tank themselves. So now our speed here is actually pretty high. Question is, does that also relate to the old stuff? So if I look at the old Panzer III here, yeah, it's faster now than it actually needs to be. So conversely, that could mean that we could add a little bit more armor here at not that significant cost. So we are actually going to call this the Panzer IIIB, and you guys are also going to get an update on your armor scheme here. Okay, you know what, let's call it the C version, just so that we avoid any confusion. It's going to be a very rapid update here. Not a big one at all. The downside is that we're losing again some technology here, or some progress. But I think it's going to be alright. There we go. Fine. Let's make sure that we've got everything done then. Okay, we have modified the core here. That does mean we can potentially spend some stuff here on the doctrines themselves. So, as a priority mission efficiency, yes, I'm going to pick that. And then for land doctrine, we're going to go for the delay. It's only going to cost 85 now instead of 100. So that's good too. Right, we still have a lot of political power here, so let's actually check that out, and I guess finally go for Krupp. And for military staff here, I would like Brauchtisch, so we're not going to pick anyone here yet. And I would also like Rommel, so again, we're going to wait a little bit here for these guys to be completely ready. There we go, that is the armoured train. Lovely, lovely, lovely. That is going to give us some more resiliency. And that actually means that in terms of production, I would like to produce you with about, let's call it 3 factories or so, to make sure that our logistical network is going to be up to the standards that we need it to be. Right, so since we are researching 1939 technology, I think we can go for the best hardware upgrades. We're not going to do for now, but industry is always pretty useful. Now, the most important things were just changed, so I don't think the production efficiency cap is as important as, for example, this one over here. So, yeah, it is going to take a long, long while, but that's fine. We've also got the new slot here, so we don't need to do any further upgrades for the moment. We're just going to wait for these guys to be ready. Oh, no ciphers being decrypted. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that for the UK. Modify officer corps. Yeah, all of you guys I would not want to really change at the moment. So we're just going to wait there. And that does, on the other hand, mean that where we've got crop, we could go for the material design and go for artillery. Or infantry equipment. I like both of these, but I think artillery is going to be a little bit more over time. So that's going to be alright. And after all, we're going to pick Messerschmitt here. That's going to take a while because we don't have the political power for now. But we're going to get that. Right, we are getting enough fuel here. I think it might be time to actually start building some fuel silos here. Which, especially for Germany, does make some sense, I think. It's going to be a little bit more hit and miss sometimes, so we're going to do it like that. Right, we need ever more rubber. Let's buy it from the UK. You know what, let's actually buy it from Brazil. Don't like to feed my enemies, even though they are not technically my enemies yet. Right, there we go. How's the recruitment going? Okay, the motorized equipment here is being done. Still need a lot of light tanks, but that's fine. Fate of Czechoslovakia. Now, the historical option would, of course, be to split it with Hungary. No, sorry, Slovakia is a puppet state. But I think we're just going to integrate it completely. That's going to be fine. We now have it. Let's actually check the next stuff then. And I would like to exert some pressure on Yugoslavia, of course. Right, next steps. Economy, I think we're fine. The Westphal is a useful tool to block in the French, but we really need that just before the war. Grossraumwirtschaft. Infrastructure, we're not really too concerned about that for now. We will be in due time, especially once we are fighting some wars in sort of the not so immediate neighborhood. You know what, I think this would be the best one here, von Brauchtisch, and I think we could also get Rommel at some point here as an advisor. So I am going to say that we're going to go army doctrine here for now. So, and there we go, we have now conquered these guys, and as I thought, this did give us enough infantry equipment to really be sufficient over here. Let's get one more person, maybe this gentleman over here, and let's actually see whether we can do something in the UK already. Don't think we can, right? No, we can't. So let's continue to build up our network there. That's going to be alright, and then the next things are going to be decisions available. Dismantle the Czechoslovakian forts. No, we have no intention of doing that. Why would we? Right, and that also means that we've now got a longer border here with Poland. Let's pick our mountaineers to deal with that. This is somewhat hilly terrain. And give them some order. I don't think they're actually going to advance that much, but I would like to use them to block some other guys in. Right, one more thing then that I want to do, and that is we're going to look at some of this stuff over here. Decommission templates. Oh yeah, we've got some infantry templates over here. Why are you also big? I would like to have a very small template here. Well, okay, let's try it with this one. So what I would want is sort of a garrison division that doesn't isn't too concerned with really anything else than just guarding our coastline and stuff. Engineers would be nice for the additional entrenchment, but I don't think we can spare the equipment right now. So let's actually use it like that, and you're going to be a garrison division. You're going to be reserve type, so that's all appropriate. 15 is quite high for our stuff there. And we're going to recommission that template. I'm going to train up a couple of these guys here. Right, there we go. Let's do 6 times 4. You can be low priority, but you can take sort of the old equipment from the Czechoslovakians and so on. I'm guessing there's going to be some World War I stuff in there, so that's fine. Speaking of equipment, we've got more and more modern equipment now here. Lovely. Industry? I think industry, isn't it? Yeah, let's go for industry. Really far ahead of time, but let's do it anyway. Yeah. Right, there we go. Ooh, more military factories. We are really building them up very fast now. Are we actually short on anything now? By the way, notice how many light tanks we have. Ah, that's because we got more Czechoslovakian stuff too. Do I see anything about your designs? I don't. Huh. Well, that's slightly awkward. The only thing that I do see is that you're too slow. Oh, too slow. 8.4, 8.2. Can I actually modify these things? It would of course be lovely if I could. Oh, Paradox! Why, Paradox, why? It would have been lovely if we could take... It was a huge thing for the Germans to take on the Czech tanks and use them in other theatres. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to do that, so let's instead continue to produce some other equipment here. That is, without doubt, going to be useful over time. Right. April 1938, and we are, of course, ahead of time here by a long shot. But still, I think we are doing quite fine. Let's see whether we can get the army innovations done. Probably not. How are we in terms of constructing things? Okay-ish. You know what? Let's actually prioritize this a little bit here, because I think these things are going to take a while to actually be finished. Right, aircraft designer, something that we will need over time, but not right now. I think we're going to continue with the Mirfo builds too, because we have a lot of political power at the moment actually. So we don't need to be too concerned with that. Army High Command and Military High Command. Yeah, but we're fine. We're fine for the moment. Also fine in terms of manpower. Yeah, all in all, things are looking pretty fine actually. Army innovations is going to be nice because then we're going to be able to spend some of our experience here. Don't think we need to be too concerned with keeping a lot of that. Army innovations done. Here's the big question: what are we going to do next? Again, the economy seems fine for now. Coal liquidization might be a good choice. Danzig, reasserted eastern claims. Now, we probably have a year or so till we want to kick off the war, right? Reasserted eastern claims, yeah, Danzig in war. That's 140 days. I guess we also want to go to Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So maybe the treaty with the USSR is a good one to pick. But is it a good one to pick now? I don't know. Let's go for coal liquidization here first. Just continue to build up a little bit of our economy. And then the next thing is we're going to pick the doctrine here. Very discounted from 100 to 35. So yeah, certainly we're going to pick that. And I think very soon we're actually going to be able to go down further, because I think we got 2 bonuses there. And that should be enough for that. Ooh, deploy units. Where are these units that we haven't been able to deploy yet? Oh, it's the motorized equipment here. How are we looking in terms of stuff that we have right now? Well, let's allocate 2 to you and 1 to you. Why not? Should be more or less fine. And notice that we've still got some cavalry divisions in that group, which is kind of awkward, but I guess it's going to be alright. Right, that being said, I think now is a good place to put in a cut. Next time we're going to get up until right the doorstep of the wall, I guess. And then we're going to see how all of that is going to turn out. That being said, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Do leave a like and everything, and I hope to see you around next time. Bye-bye.